Hello and welcome to this DRPG bite-sized series about all things AI. Today we're looking at the risks and rewards, and I'm joined by DRPG's very own digital marketing consultant, Steve Hartman, and our senior creative director, Mr. Tommy Moore. So Tommy, I'll start with yourself. Can there be ethics in use of AI? And I believe we're going to talk about data laundering as well, but first and foremost, what's the ethical standpoint?
Well, ethics and AI are independent of each other. Ethics are universal. There are ethics to car making, to factories, to climate change. There are ethics everywhere. So ethics does apply to AI in the same way it applies to everything else. I think as communicators, we need to be especially aware of how it impacts the work we do and the people we represent, because as an agency and as communicators, we represent big businesses that have got invested audiences that have ethical, moral, and legal concerns about what we do. So, yes, AI can be ethical, but we need to understand whether an issue with AI is ethical, moral, or legal. Those are three distinct things. The journey starts with legalities, and right now, all around the world, there are different rules and regulations and laws, and that makes it tricky for communicators. If you're a global agency like we are, a decision we might make which is fine in the US might be completely not fine in Italy or Shanghai or anywhere else in the world. So that creates confusion and complexity, and that's the enemy of all communications. So basic legal frameworks are necessary. Then we can apply the ethics and morality. But in short, yes, we can. We have complete control over AI. AI isn't making decisions, humans are. So it's only ever going to be as good and ethical as we make it.
At the moment then, without those frameworks, is it a bit like the Wild West out there?
It is the Wild West, but some legal safeguards still apply. So if you think about things like copyright law and kind of identity safeguarding and all those things, advertising standards. If you use AI to make an advert and that advert goes on TV, it's still subject to all the laws and regulations of the advertising industry. So whether you make a billboard, a social media post, whether you put something on telly or anything in betwixt those things, there are still things that will keep us safe and on the right path. So it is a Wild West to some degree, but to be honest, in every consumer-facing output, which is what we're concerned about, normal regulations can still keep things rather safe and tidy for us.
To that, I'd say, is the onus on leaders to have a strong moral standpoint?
Think of it like GDPR. So if you're a leader in an organisation or if you're a communicator, you first need to know what is GDPR and how can I stay on the right path when it comes to the law and using it. That's one thing. The next thing is, now I understand what I'm obliged to do because of the law. The next thing is, what is the right thing to do? So when I ask for data, whilst it might be legal, do I really need to ask for this data? Is it conducive for the marketing I need to do? Does capturing this consumer's data mean I can field them better, more relevant content? So I think it's going to be exactly like the GDPR journey. Everyone's confused, legalities come into place, people get used to that, and then ethics come into place at last. And I think that's where we are in the state with AI right now.
So data laundering then, what exactly is that?
So data laundering is the process where essentially crawlers will go all around the digital estate and they will take bytes and bits of information. So for example, if you ask generative AI to make you a certain person doing a certain thing, they might take the ear of this person, the nose of that person, the trousers they might be wearing might be a little bit of Adidas and a little bit of Nike. The hat they might be wearing might be part Lacoste and it might be part Elise, showing my age with choice of brands here. But essentially, the data is being plucked from a wide range of locations in not a hugely targeted way. The real problem with data laundering is if you've uploaded artwork, intellectual property, if you've made a story that you like, if you've made a film, if you've laid down a music track, if you are a creator and you're not particularly savvy with online intellectual property laws, much of your material that you might rely on to make a living, to do your business, could be repurposed and redeployed in someone else's work without them having to do anything. And that can bring up real legal, moral, ethical concerns. And so really the big debate in generative AI is, and rarely would you use generative AI externally. It's not something, you're not going to generatively AI an ad and then put it on screen. Very rarely will you do that. But if you were, you must understand that you will be using other people's stuff. And that has to be on your conscience. If you ethically source where you get your material from when it comes from AI, you are absolutely fine and above board. But right now, The platforms and systems that we've got that generate AI are pulling from millions of places without people's full knowing and informed consent. And that's where the issue lies. Those things are called data lakes. Everywhere data is, there's a data lake. Where you go fishing is really important as an ethical agency, as an ethical communicator.
I'll ask you a bit of a tough question now. With an end product that's been ethically sourced, using generative AI, is that necessarily better than one that hasn't?
I think better doesn't come into it. I think that an end product that is made, and again, generative AI is typically used to get you to the final idea, to get you to the final design. Most people, when they use generative AI, it will be to be inspired by or to learn something. Using ChatGPT to find out, what are Amazon customers in Luxembourg most interested in buying this summer? It will go fishing for that data, but it's to inform you. I think as long as we use generative AI to inform, inspire, and guide, we're okay. What we mustn't do is make sure that we're not profiteering from other people's work. That's the fundamental issue.
So we've touched on the risks there, but what's some of the most significant rewards of AI?
So as we start to look into the rewards parts of it, you need to have a look at where's that data come from, because when we look at personalisation, it's a huge part of where AI really amplifies and supports marketeers as a whole, whether it comes to the right offers, understanding the journey that people are taking. Having that as a basis for your data in models that you've built is a great tool to really make sure that everything you're getting is coming from that kind of matrix. And as we start to analyze more and more, and we go into the depths of data and start to pull more of the trends and those topics that are related to you, because it's owned, it's yours, it's that kind of, the ethical moral piece is if it's yours, you can do what you need to because it stays within your kind of hub. So as we start to get into that data, you get more trends, more predictive analysis. It allows us as the people to start thinking more strategically. How will we use that data to make it more impactful for your customers, their customers, that wider kind of balance of how it starts to come together?
So would you say, a key reward of AI would be the fact that you can have this custom bespoke result?
I think it's a really big part of it, and that's the bit that's only ever going to get more and more strength. So at the moment, a lot of the databases are using a lot older data. So you couldn't necessarily plan future trends unless you have the kind of data to back it up. You're working with models from 21 to 22. There's nothing kind of really maximizing on where we are now. So as we start to look at our own language models and our own kind of databases that we're pulling from, that's when the validity of that data really will make a difference. So we can start to interpret and analyze and give customers kind of what they want in the right step. So you've seen it with Netflix is probably one of the biggest ones, the way they use AI to recommend a program. They pick off learning trends, they pick off global trends, all these pieces plug into an AI database, so to speak, to personalize and push out the right thing for you, the latest next watches, film or series.
Really interesting stuff. So for those wanting to go forward and use AI, how can they use it wise and well? Do you have any advice?
So to be honest, we can use ourselves as an example. So a lot at the moment is implementing things, small areas, starting to bring people together, making sure people are more kind of an affinity with it and testing those different experiences. So whether it is kind of small email support in terms of getting that right email, making sure the tone's correct, or actually looking at data a little bit differently if we're trying to really push things through, or we need no longer to start with a blank page. That's the biggest thing out of this is it means there's an idea there already. It can be fleshed out and supported with kind of creative directors or the strategic partners that we're kind of working alongside. So I think the biggest thing to step away is don't be afraid of it. It's utilize it, understand it, because fundamentally that's how it's going to grow and develop. You're never going to kind of enhance a tool unless it gets utilized. And as kind of DRPG we are now, we're starting to look at that to understand it, to make sure not only does it make most benefit to us and kind of how we use our time, but also the most benefit to the people we work with.
And Tommy, for yourself?
The thing you need to know is listen to those that are doing it and using it well all the time. So seek the right advice from the right partners is a big guidance I would give you, because agencies like us, it's our everyday. We are using it every day practically. So find an agency partner that is doing this very often. Areas where it can really supercharge skills. Think about accessibility. If you have mobility issues, if you are sight impaired or audibly impaired or any of those things, the ability to say, write and type prompts and have what you want to create made for you supercharges everyone's accessibility to deliver something creative or to put a creative idea on the table. If you have neurodiverse people in your organization that might be a little bit more nervous about putting an idea into a brainstorm, using AI might allow them to articulate an idea in an image that they would have really struggled to articulate in words, and that has power. So if I can submit ideas to meetings and brainstorms and ideation sessions using AI, I've just been accepted, included, and supercharged. It saves organizations money because you can experiment with things, you can iterate, you can do sprints of changes. I kind of like that idea. Let's dial it up a bit more. If you were to use a normal real designer, audio mixer, videographer to do that, it will take a lot of time and expense. So it can move you to the best idea, the right idea, faster. So I'd say that it's more accessible. It allows you to be a very inclusive, very accessible provider of ideas, AI. It allows you to cut out time for iterations. You can get to the right idea faster than ever before. And it can equip and prepare you with the right knowledge because AI is networked intelligence. It takes away some of the bias. If I come up with an idea, it's influenced by my thoughts and my feelings. And if I search for it online, those search terms are influenced by my thoughts and my feelings. AI will give me what I ask for. So as long as you're informed and you know the language that AI speaks, which requires training, if you can ask it the right questions, you will get answers that are supported by big, rich, deep, informed data. And that has immense power. That's like having 1 billion research and insight boffins going away and giving you their findings. So again, gives you great insights because you're networked into the world. It allows you to act with speed and have great efficacy in getting to the right idea, and you can be more accessible, inclusive than ever before. So those are 3 game-changing facets of generative AI, but my advice is learn from those who do, not from those who speak.
You mentioned their workshops as well and training. That's something we offer here at DRPG as well.
I would encourage organisations to seek out the best possible training they can get, because otherwise you're fumbling around in the dark with a new machine. Think of it like the early days of cars. In the early days of cars, there was no car tax, no road lights, no road signs, there was nothing. And over time, as we've got more experience, we've added these safeguards in to make driving safer and better and easier for people. It's the same with AI. Agencies and communicators, they're ahead of the bell curve because we are putting AI to the people. So getting the right training from the right people that are doing it all the time, it's well worth investing in. And it's worth investing now before your competition do.
So I actually went away and used generative AI to come up with some questions. So it's actually after my job as well. But I wanted to ask you one of the AI generated questions and see how it fares. So to start with, let's dive in at this one. So bias in AI algorithms is a growing concern. How can we ensure that AI in communications doesn't perpetuate biases or discriminate? So quite the question. Well done, AI, for coming up with that one.
Yeah, you should definitely feel in danger. That is a sterling question. AI will give you as many iterations, but it will only serve you what you type in. So using more specific search words and being a more informed human, and if you want to avoid generalizations, actively put in those words. I want a contemporary astronaut from this country or this time or of this gender. If you know what you're shopping for, you can get what you need. But bear in mind that AI is lazy like humans, and it will find the easiest possible answer it can. It falls into the same pitfalls we all do. We all expect cars to drive, not fly. So if we ask it for a car, it's going to give us a driving car, not a flying car. So if you want something specific, go out there and ask for it, and there will be some bias in those answers.
Brilliant, thanks. So Tommy, Steve, thanks so much for taking the time to join me here today. In the next episode, we'll cover AI in internal communications, so that's one definitely not to miss.